What do you mean I'm late by a whole year? I'm on time. Just because some of you can't tell the difference between me going live and not going live. Wishful thinking. I am never late. I haven't been late to a stream once this year. You guys just don't know what going live actually means. How's everyone? How we all doing, folks? You guys are just trolling it at this point. I know you are. I know you are. Guys are just mean. Yo, make it simple. Woodpick, Gross, Gorsty, Devin, Bullet, Steve. How's it going, folks? And anyone else I missed? Power Boss, Leafy. Hey, look, that's not how this shit works. That isn't how this works, Devin. I'm on time. I go live on time. Another long and arduous day, Bullets. Another long and arduous day. But we are getting there. Took me forever to get Avowed installed today. What a nightmare that was. The Xbox servers must have been absolutely trounced. Normally, I at least download like 60 megasecond. I was at 10 to 15 megasecond. It was not pleasant. I only got to play about 20 minutes of it, and so far it's okay. I mean, I spent more time in the character creation than I did actually getting it, but yeah, I sat down at 6 o'clock waiting for it to go live. It wasn't going live, and then at about 10 past 6 it finally went live, and I said cool, it says play. And so I went to grab a glass of water, came back, and that play turned into update. And then it took me 40 minutes to update, and then once it updated I said cool, now we're gonna play. I click on the play button. Then it started unpacking for about 40 minutes or half an hour. Half an hour to 40 minutes. And then after it finished unpacking and whatnot, it said finally, the game is loading. And then it decided to load shaders. So it took me the best part of almost 2 hours to get into the game. It's like, how about you release it a little bit earlier so people can get this stuff done? Like, and it wasn't available on xCloud either, so. Though in fairness, I could have went to GeForce Now. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, probably in hindsight should have gone to GeForce Now. But I was hoping to have like a more extensive play of it, at least like an hour or two before I started the stream, but it was not meant to be. Well, Xbox doesn't even want to put the game on their own service, so what am I supposed to do, Steve? I did say xCloud first, and I did say I did forget about it. So how's everyone finding Avowed anyway? Those that are playing it. It's still telling me that my bitrate is low. Apparently, a couple of you have told me that the stream has been a bit pixelated as of late. I'm not sure why. I'm guessing my internet in this area has been pretty bad lately. I don't actually know why it's the way it is. Okay, never mind. I think I do know why it is. Let's try that. I think I do know why it is. You're enjoying Avowed? $40 in, playing on the... Mate, unlike you guys, I am playing on the hardest difficulty setting. It's great. I'm one-shotting everything. I'm just throwing sticks at them and they're dying. Hope you feel better, Devin. You should have, Woodpit. You absolutely should have. Oh, look, Ghosty, we all know that story is the hardest difficulty. You just don't want to admit it. Sorry to hear that, gaming. I hope you feel better. Ghosty, look, we all know that that difficulty setting is the hardest. It's reversed. It's done that way to kind of fool you to thinking it's easy, but it's really not. You get cooked. So yeah, I wanted to. I'm gonna try and get some space on my Xbox because I have literally none, and the games I've got on there I don't want to delete. So I really do need to at some point invest in another terabyte of memory for it. I just don't want to pay the price that they're charging for it. So at the moment, I've got it installed on my PC, everything cranked to max, it's giving me about 55 FPS. If I turn off ray tracing, I get solid 120 FPS, which is good. The game won't boot on a standard hard drive on Xbox. It needs to be their proprietary SSD. I'm getting no stutter at all. I mean, I've only played it for like 20 minutes to half an hour. But I'm not getting anything. It seems to be really well optimized. For now, anyway. I'm still at the start of the game. So you guys playing it in first person or third person? Now there was these knockoff memory cards casings that you could buy. You know, they're like £10, and then you can go and buy the actual M2 memory cards yourself, drives, and plug them in, and then plug it into your Xbox, and it basically would come to like £50, right? A third of the price that they're asking for here in the UK. But Microsoft went and updated their OS to block those from working. Very pro-consumer. I swear, I must be like a magnet to some PlayStation fans. It's been mental today. Anything I've said, I've been literally swarmed by fanboys. It's been so funny today. Hey, right now, Game Pass is pro-consumer. Until it's not. But for now it is. But I agree, no company is pro-consumer. I saw, Chili. I saw. Hey, look. I got Jamie Zacht hovering around me like flies around the shit. I got that other Dreamcast 6-bit though constantly hovering around me. It's crazy. And then when you actually present them with factual information, they get all hurt in their feels and they get offended and then they go full defensive and you're like, come on, man, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. They try to trigger me and in turn actually get triggered themselves. I know, Bags. It's literally your mission, isn't it? To turn me into a pony. It's your mission. It's the one Jim Ryan gave you before he got rid of Shuhei, right? As it was getting rid of Shuhei, he said to you, "This is your mission." And off you went. We don't talk about that, Steve. You got the analogy, and that's the most important part. They cannot. Like this whole notion that Xbox is going the Sega route and it's exactly the same, it's not. Sega got done hard by Sony. They got shafted big time. It's not the same. the situation, surrounding Sega was way different to what it is now. The circumstances are just catastrophic. Like, for example, did you know that? I mean, I made a video on this already, but for those of you that didn't see it, Sony went to publishers and said, if you release your games on the Dreamcast, you cannot release it on PlayStation. Sony wouldn't allow it. And that's why GTA didn't come out on the Dreamcast, even though it was working. They had to can it. PS fans telling VG Fight School MLB the show isn't Sony first party when it is to drive their note. Look, dude, they will say anything. The fact is, it's developed by a Sony studio, and it's published by Sony. It's first party. They can like it, lump it. I really don't care. It is first party. They can easily turn around to MLB and say, we don't want this anymore. We're not going to do it. We're not going to develop it. We're not going to publish it. Go to someone else. They have every right to do that if MLB is forcing them to do something against their will. But you know what? Sony didn't say that, did they? I mean, when PlayStation came out, they were just trying to survive, right? It wasn't until they bought Psygnosis that things really changed. And then EA decided to boycott Sega. And then once Sony got a footing, they do what they do best. They go for the kill. And they turned around to the big publishers and said, if you release your games on Sega, we're not going to let you release it on PlayStation. And as PlayStation's market dominance grew, companies had no choice. It wasn't years later. I found out that Valve also did the same thing. Because their game was complete. And then they eventually leaked it. Because, the Dreamcast was the most easily piratable machine of all time. So they just leaked it to the internet, the source code. And allowed people to compile it and make a bootable disc. Because they couldn't release it on the Dreamcast, because if they did, they couldn't release it on PlayStation. That sort of stuff is just sad. Yeah, them stretching tactics are pretty sweet. They really good at that shit. But I don't get the hate for Avowed. It seems like an okay game. Like, from what I've seen, I don't see anything really wrong with it at the moment. Again, albeit I've only been in there for the best part of half an hour. But I've been watching quite a bit and listening, and you've got the camp that absolutely says it's trash, which is generally the PlayStation side. And then you've got the side that says it's absolutely awesome. And then you've got the ones in the middle. Those are the ones you generally want to listen to. And they are very favourable to the game. Probably not a 9 out of 10 from what everyone is saying, especially with the bugs and stuff. But definitely like an 8, 8.5. But did anyone see this? This one here. Has anyone seen this? Like I said, I don't see the, on Avowed on PC. I didn't see the star. All right, listen carefully to what's actually being said, and this will be the defining moment, right? This is the defining moment, and anytime anyone says that there's no Xbox tax, now you know.
This is literally from Kind of Funny Games when they heard that Forza Horizon 5 was now announced for the actual PS5. This is what they said.
Story number 1. Forza Horizon.
Keep in mind that these are journalists. These are, well, so-called, journalists, influencers, kind of people who, report on games and stuff like this. So this is like the media, right?
Horizon 5 comes to PlayStation 5.
What? What?
In spring 2025.
We won.
We won.
We won.
Literally,
we won.
the words out of this guy's mouth was "we won." Bitch, who is we? Who is we? No, what do you mean we won?
Right.
This is literally
The fact that they turned around and said we won, perpetually makes me believe that from that point, from now on forward, and from everything that they've done in the past, it was either reviewed badly on purpose, it was criticized badly on purpose, because that was their goal. That was their goal. Nah, not we as in gamers, we as in the media. They are the media. We as the media won. And people said that the media had no biases. There was nothing going on. Chili, you would. You're a pony. Of course you wouldn't take it that way. I haven't played enough to tell you, Bags. From what I've seen, like Starfield, 85 I think is about possibly right. But, I haven't played enough to make a judgment. With Starfield, I played and then I gave an 85. I haven't played enough to be able to give my impression. I've only just seen people posting videos and watched a bit on Twitch, but until I play it myself, I won't know. But you'll know once I get my video out. I'll be honest. I just thought it was really funny. There should be at least a little bit of some decorum with these people. And there isn't. They just went gung-ho all the way. It's like, yep, we finally did it. We did it. We got what we wanted. Dude, I've been trying for it. I've tried. I have really tried. I reach out to their PR department all the time. They're just not interested. So, it is what it is. Honestly, I think it's because, and this isn't just going to be me just saying this, because I don't shield to the full extent, and I do hold them accountable, and I do question things, and I do call them out, whether it's in a constructive or not. I think that's probably part of the reason why I don't. But hey, Sony gives me codes. Square Enix does. Namco Bandai does. Loads of other companies do. So it is what it is. I'm at the point where I'm not even bothering contacting their PR department anymore. I think Starfield was right at 8.5. You know, I reviewed it at launch. I think an 8.5 was about right. There was some stuff wrong with it, and some stuff that needed improvement. And they did fix it later, and they did make it better later, and the mods definitely have helped. But, you know, you review a game at launch. And there, I did say Astrobot to a non-PlayStation gamer was an 8.7. At some point, I'm going to pick that up to try it out, but I reached out to them and they said I didn't meet their criteria. I've got a 12900 i9. I don't know why it took so long, but it did. I've got a 12 series i9. Which shouldn't be bad, right? In all fairness, it should still be a good CPU. I mean, like I said, without ray tracing on, I'm getting... Avowed is running at 120 FPS. So I've got no problems with it. Nah, mine took forever. Mine took for absolute ever. That said, though, it isn't unpacking to an NVMe; it's unpacking on an SSD. So that could be a reason, because you've probably got it on NVMe's. Where my graphics card sits on my motherboard, the NVMe is right underneath my graphics card, and if I get the NVMe with the heatsink, it basically doesn't fit, and I don't want an NVMe without a heatsink. So, when I upgrade my graphics card, eventually, at some point, then I'll obviously need a new motherboard, and then I'll do the new build then. I'm not going to do that now. That's a hassle now. When I upgrade the MOBO, I'm tempted to upgrade the CPU as well at the same time. So it'll kind of be like a all-in-one jobby. The Kingdom Come Deliverance, like, it sold 2 million copies now, right? For the game that it is, that's not bad. Yeah, you see? E-Ranks is around where I'm at. 80 to 85, which seems fair. Somewhere around that point there, from what I've seen, seems fair. What class did you guys start off as? Like, what did you pick? The bow? The scholar? The knight? Scout. I picked the one right at the bottom. The game has been weird for different people. I mean, for some people, it just out and out crashed. So, I guess it just depends. Some people have had, like yourself, no problems. Other people, it took a little while. It doesn't matter. I mean, I just wanted to be able to jump in and just do some stuff before the stream so I could get a little bit more of a hands-on kind of thing to the actual game so I could play a little bit more. But I only just got past the beginning part. You know, the character creation is obviously going to take some time. See? Now, Bags is a true pony. But the problem is, when Hellblade 2 eventually at some point goes to PlayStation, it's going to be interesting to see what scores it gets and how people react to it. That's going to be amusing to watch. But yeah, so far, I've seen criticisms where, the town is not alive. It doesn't feel alive. Where the NPCs are all static. I think those are valid criticisms. And, from a dev perspective, I can only see two reasons why they would do that. Number one, memory. It saves on memory if they don't move around in a scripted manner, or if they don't. Normally, what you do is you'd give them a bit of AI, so they can walk around in a specific area, but they've got free movement. But that requires memory. The alternative is that they wanted to save the memory to use that, to push other parts of the game or the area, whether it's the graphics, it's the lighting, it's the ambience of the towns or whatever. So those are generally the two reasons why they would do that. But I think it's a valid critique, but not one that's going to ruin the game. Who knows, Steve? Maybe the second time, if I were to do it again, it would go really, really quickly. I don't know, but you saw Digital Foundry, it took them 4 minutes for the shaders. My shaders didn't take that long. I may have exaggerated the shaders just a little bit. I think it took maybe a minute or two, 3 minutes. About a minute or two, I'd say. How to change the time setting. I change it before flight and it. No idea. By default, they have head bob and camera shake on max. Yeah, they had blur on as well. Took that off straight away. You're just flying, huh? Diablo? I didn't say it has to be E-ranks. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed Anthem for God knows how long. I'd probably still be playing it today if they didn't stop supporting it. But yeah, people generally say if it's not a 9 out of 10, it's not worth playing. And yet, there are tons of games out there that hit that 7 and 8, and it's worth playing. I mean, by that logic, right? Ghost of Tsushima, which is one of my favorite games, got an 8 out of 10. So I guess that's not worth playing either, right? It doesn't make any sense. Didn't the original Spider-Man get 8 out of 10? I guess that's not worth playing, right? Miles Morales got 8 out of 10. That's not worth playing. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart got 8 out of 10. That's not worth playing. You see where I'm going with this? It's just silly. What do you think it is? They're never going to play it, but they bought it anyway just to show support. I don't know, it's weird. Why? Why would you pay for something that you're never going to play? That's weird. Weird. Most of my favorite games landed in the 7 to 8. Yeah, I'd 8.5 range. Vegas got snubbed, man. All they needed was 85 and they would have got their bonus. But the media decided to snub them with their reviews. But I think I'll get some good time in there soon. I criticize reviewers for holding Xbox to such high standards that they won't even want every game to redefine everything every time. Meanwhile, Sony can release Sad Dad Sim 83 bringing nothing to the table. Is it really? No way. Is it? How is that getting another upgrade? That's crazy. The game isn't even that old. The problem is I would believe you. That's the problem. It's believable. Hey, Miller. So apparently they're offering one lucky winner the chance to create an NPC for the Elder Scrolls 6 to benefit Make-A-Wish Mid-Atlantic. Winning bid will go directly to Make-A-Wish so they can keep granting wishes. If you're interested, you can start your silent auction and create an NPC for Elder Scrolls 6 to be in the game. How cool is that? Right, who's going for the auction? Haven't they remastered Gravity Rush already, though? You want to do a remaster of a remaster? Yeah, Silva, I think I have it here. Where is it? I did have it here. But yeah, so this is crazy. Fired a team that produced one of the biggest games last year and continue to work with a small skeleton group to rake in the most profits as possible. This game is insanely popular right now, and NetEase, who I do not like at all, and I've always had my issues with them, just went in and absolutely obliterated the whole studio. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I doubt it'll be exclusive. I think they'll have marketing rights, but that's as far as it'll go. Considering the person that leaked it hasn't been right in the past 19 months now, it's just been spouting rubbish, so I wouldn't put much stoke in that. Wouldn't surprise me if they got the marketing rights, though. But yeah, this is mental. I did like this post here, though. This post was... You can tell that this dude, this director, was a really nice guy. The way he actually wrote this in a humorous way was actually really awesome. You can tell that he was a nice guy, but I don't even understand why this happened. This is awful. This isn't Overwatch. This is Marvel Rivals. NetEase is, well, they're a Chinese company that generally made mobile games, and then they transitioned to PC games and stuff, console games and stuff. They generally work in the free-to-play market, and if the game doesn't meet a certain bar of revenue, they just shut the games down. They don't care about the studios or whatever. They just kill the game, and they've killed loads of games in the mobile scene. But this one I just don't get. Like, every time I hear about Marvel Rivals, it's breaking bank. So the rumors are that PlayStation already has a deal in place, but I don't think Rockstar needs anyone to market their game for them. So if I was Rockstar, I wouldn't give it to anyone. I'd let the game just flood out the gates, because we all know it's going to sell. Even with the talks of £200 for the game, which was highly clickbaity, especially when you consider they're talking about the Ultimate Legendary Edition, which pretty much exists now when you're looking at games like Doom and whatnot. But I still think the game is going to be $100, but I just don't think Rockstar need it. But what was I looking for? Rivals. It's a waste of money for anyone doing it. I mean, if you look at Marvel, the game, it's doing phenomenally well. It's still got 300,000 players. I mean, right now, this second, it's at 226, but by the weekend, it'll hit that 300,000 again. And you can see it's consistent as well. You've got the time over here. By midnight, prime time in the US, it goes back up again. And this is consistent. Right? So, why would they find the need to get rid of the whole studio? Well, good luck to them all in. I think it's a waste of money. Considering the amount of money that they're going to want for the marketing rights, good luck with it. I think it's a lost leader. Apparently the PC release of GTA 6 might be coming sooner than expected. At least according to a few murmurings that I've heard, and I've also seen it online as well. But there's talks of it coming earlier than expected. It might not be the whole year this time. It could arrive within 6 months of launch on console, which is good for PC, I guess. I mean, they haven't even sold 75 million consoles yet. Where are you going to 100 million? Let them get to 75 first. I mean, Marvel will take a portion of the IP. They won't take of the revenue. They won't take all of it. Just like they did with Sony and Spider-Man. They only take a portion of it. Until they get to a certain threshold. And once they've kind of got the return that they want, no, they're not at 75 million. That's already been proven time and time again. Only people that don't know how to read are saying it's at 75 million. Anyone with half a brain will tell you that it's not. Anyway, as I was saying, they only take it to a certain revenue. And once you kind of hit that point, then they reduce the amount that they take. And I'm pretty sure that they've already made their money on this game. Now, they shipped 75 million, but they haven't sold 75 million. And as we established last week, from that 9.5 million, only about 4 million is new customers. The other sales are a waste of time and a loss for Sony. I mean, who knows, dude? Who knows? But what you should do, all in, is you should quit gaming and become an analyst. An economic analyst, looking at how sales interact with, the funding of video games. What it actually impacts. You should go and write a thesis on this. And when you do, get it published, on a respectable website. And, maybe, because you've got a keen interest in this, on the sales side and how many consoles are selling. You've got a really keen interest. So you should pursue that dream. Give up the gaming side and go become the analyst you've always wanted to be. I believe in you, dude. I genuinely believe in you. And I know you can do it. Who knows how many Xbox sold? It's estimated between 30 and 35 million. I bet he's going to come out with that AMD one again. Go on. Please do. So I can just show you up even more. Please use the AMD one. I knew it was coming to PS5. I already jumped onto King Fresh's stream and explained the whole thing to him. Live on his stream. I knew it was coming. So, I didn't care. Oh, look at him. Look at him. He thinks I'm going to get offended. Hey, analyst. Keep it up, buddy. Like I told King Fresh, it was just for entertainment value. I wanted to entertain my audience. They found it amusing. I found it amusing. And everyone was having a good time. It's a win-win for me. As long as I'm entertaining my audience, that's what matters to me. You're acting like I care. I mean, at least I'm out there. I don't know how true it is. Supposedly someone said there was 6 people in the US studio. I don't know. It sounds... even if it is 6 people, like, why would they get let go, though? Like, the fact that people like you have heard of me, you are here now giving me money, is why it's okay, right? You right now, thanks to that meme, are here, and you are paying me money by viewing this and giving me money. How stupid does that make you feel now? I'm just tagging you along because you're making me get money. That viewership time that's ticking away because you're still here and making me get my watch time up, getting my engagement up, that's why it's worth it. Why do you think Babyface done that whole pronouns thing and became a massive meme? Obviously, I'm nowhere near his scale, but he made bank off that, right? He made bank. So, no such thing as bad advertising. I am happy or entertained. I know what it is what it is. But yeah, this is crazy. I didn't to hear that this studio getting shut down, like, why would they do it though? Like, it's crazy. Even if it is 6 people, the amount of money they're making is astronomical. I don't know. I just find I don't like seeing job losses. I don't like seeing studio closures. I don't like seeing any of that stuff. And especially when a game is doing so well like this one, to me, it just doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. Where are you getting that information from, Automata? What have you missed? Not much. We were talking a bit about Avowed. It took me like forever to get into the game, so I was hoping to get a bit more of a... Oh, by the way, what do you guys think of the new thumbnail? Wait, did you guys see my new... Yeah, I've used your new thumbnail for my thing. What did you think of the new thumbnail? I still wonder if Sony actually even broke even. I estimated that they needed to sell around 13 to 14 million copies before they would break even. Awesome. It looks like a thumbnail. It's supposed to look like an awesome thumbnail. You heard they hit 13 million? Is that with PC or without PC? We just had one guy come in trying to trigger me. I'm just, maybe if I was MBG, I would be triggered, but I'm not. And quite honestly, the week I'm already having at work, it will take a hell of a lot to trigger me. But hey, it is what it is. Without PC, so they finally roughly broke even. Xbox One. Oh, that guy lost it. That guy was like, "We're at war. We are going to war." I'm like, "Calm down, mate. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down." I was like, "My dude, all that was missing was you getting the crayon and just start putting the stripes on your face." Yeah, probably name wrong. My dude was like, "This is Sparta!" Ah! I was like, "Fucking calm down, man. Calm down. Calm down." Nah, no need. I think I put him in his place enough. I think, I mean, he might still be here, or he might be gone. But I think after he heard that he was giving me free money while he was here and working towards my engagement numbers, I think that might have annoyed him enough for him to go away. Yeah, he tried to come in and try to just beefing, and I de-escalated it quite quickly by turning around and making him look silly. Yeah, he wasn't rude. Look, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Let me draw you something. Let me draw something, because I am gonna do an amazing work of art now. Okay, that might have broken my... Why are you not coming? Okay, here we go. Alright, so I'm gonna do an amazing piece of art now. Where is OBS? Okay, here. Do we have a browser? I think so. Let's see. Alright, we don't want that there. Why is it like sitting there? Okay. Let's put that down. Alright. Let's also make this a little bigger. Alright, that's good. Alright, let's just look at this for a second. So, over the years, no one really counts Nintendo, so I'm not even going to bother putting them in. Plus, it's a little unfair to put Nintendo in there, considering they've been around for 2 generations. From PS2 and Xbox, roughly it was, God, this is crazy, 180 million sales, right? Then you got, oh damn, PS3 and a 360, and the PS3 had, I think it was about 85 million, 90 million sales, and the 360 had about 80 million, so give or take 180 180 million. Then you go to the PS4, right? And X-Bone. This is really good writing, by the way. So the PS4 sold like 115 million, if I'm not mistaken. Quote me, these numbers, give or take. Xbox sold 60 million, so we're looking at 175 million. Have you noticed the trend so far, chat? Have you noticed the trend? Then we come into PS5 and the series, right? So the PS5, I'm going to assume so far, is roughly about 60 million consoles, or let's say 65, with 10 million sitting in the warehouses. And Xbox is roughly about 30. So right now we're looking at 95. Are you telling me that in this generation that we've got left, they're gonna sell another 100 million consoles? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Do you see why they're saying it's not growing? Now, even with Sony getting to that 65 million and Xbox going down, all they're doing is eating the market share of that 180, 190 million. One goes down, the other one goes up, and the closest it's actually gotten, where they were actually quite even between the two, was the Xbox One and the 360 and the PS3 era, where they both shared roughly about 85 million consoles, right? So it still came to 180 million. But you can see just through this alone that then the market itself isn't growing. They're not getting new players, right? They're not expanding. And this is what they say is the problem. This is why they're saying it's not growing. Basically, Chili, yeah. So when people say that the industry isn't actually growing, it's basically capped. This is what it is. It's not growing. It's not. All they're doing is sharing that user base between the two, and the hourglass analogy works perfectly fine here. And so that's the difference. That's literally it, right? The PS2 era where Sony did amazingly well with 160 million, Xbox sold 20 million on its debut launch. The PS3, they shared the wealth. The PS4, Sony had more sales. It didn't matter. Because all they're doing is sharing. Sharing is caring. But it's not exceeding. At no point are they exceeding that 200 million. Right? It's just not happening. And even when you look at the 9.5 million sales that they did have in that quarter, it was people upgrading from the PS4 to the PS5, which is a net loss for Sony because during that period, the PS5 was £350. So they are taking a direct hit on that console. They're losing money, right? So on that 58% of sales, they are losing money. And then you've got the ones that were upgrading from the PS5 to the PS5 Pro. But again, it's the same user. So if you remove those, realistically, you've got about 4 million new customers, which is decent. Don't get me wrong, 4 million is still 4 million. You shouldn't crap on 4 million. But the numbers speak differently once you put it into context. And this is the context. Right? I don't think we've actually hit 100 million consoles sold yet. I think Sony is at 65 with the PS5 right now. I think they've probably hit that 65. And Xbox is somewhere between 30 and 35. I can barely see this on this. The contrast is way too high. But yeah, so that's somewhere where they are, right? And it doesn't make any sense. But this is why they're saying that it's not growing. Destin isn't lying. Phil isn't lying. The only people that don't want to understand this factual information are the PlayStation fans, because they're buying that whole we sold 175 million consoles. You know, they believe that the PS5 has sold 75 million consoles. It hasn't. They've shipped 75 million consoles. And anyone with half a brain will tell you. I mean, look, without naming names, I was discussing this with one of the PlayStation fans on X, right? And I said, shipped. And they said, well, they've always said shipped. Right? So they've acknowledged the fact that they haven't sold 75 million. And then I see them release a video literally the next day saying they've sold 75 million. So they acknowledge that they haven't sold 75 million, but they go on to lie to their community because it gets them brownie points and, you know. Actually, 42% bags. It's 42%. But from that 9.5 million, you're looking about 4 million, right? And a huge portion of those users, I would suspect, are people who have an Xbox already who decided that they're going to go and buy a PlayStation as well. There are loads of people on Xbox One, and this is why I think Phil said at the time that the Xbox console's user base was roughly at around 50 to 55 million, but they were incorporating the Xbox One because those users are on Game Pass, and they're using the Xbox One through xCloud to play Series X games. You know, the first-party games that are on xCloud. And there are a lot of people that do that because there's really no need to upgrade. Because through the console, you can play. So it diminished the reason to upgrade, which in my opinion is good for the consumer, but not so great when you're looking at numbers. I was doing grok speculation. Xbox has 30 million consoles at last count. AMD said that they had over 100 million sold. So, no, over 100 million shipped, right? Over 100 million AMD chips have shipped. So if Sony has the 75 million shipped, then I don't expect AMD to say anything until they get to the next milestone, which is 125. That's going to be their next milestone. They'll probably go up in quarters, 1.25 million, you know, and so forth. 1.25, 1.5, 1.75, and then 200 million. So I think that's what you'll hear about it if they do get to 125 million. But anything in between that 25 to 0, or even 15 to 0, you're not going to hear about. And that's the boundary where Xbox is in. That's where the extra 5-6 million consoles for Xbox is coming in. And they're sitting roughly about 32 million consoles, which is, you know, it is what it is. I read shipped, but I could have read wrong. Xbox stopped supporting last gen so early. With first party to nudge people into current gen, but screw themselves with xCloud. 100%, Steve. 100%. Because if you don't have the games available on the previous console or a way to play the latest games, you will upgrade. For the longest time, people didn't upgrade from the PS4 to the PS5 because there was no need to. Sony was releasing their games cross-gen, and people were happy to play those games at 30 FPS instead of them spending 500 quid on a new console. But the moment those games stopped going to PS4, now you have a need to upgrade because you're not going to get the latest games anymore. With Xbox, that is not the case. Right? You can have your Xbox One console, and even when the next Xbox console comes out next year, holidays, you'll still be able to play those games on your xCloud. You still have no reason to upgrade because xCloud is there. And now that you can use the other service on the actual Xbox as well through the browser, you've got multiple ways to actually utilize your console, your ancient console, to play the latest games. I mean, you could technically be running a 5080 graphics card, an NVIDIA 5080, on your Xbox One. That's insane, right? As long as your internet is good. So yeah, you're right. Xbox did kind of shoot themselves in the foot with that one. But even then, they said over 100 million sold. Did it say shipped? I mean, I remember saying it shipped, but if you, now Big Bad Mo is saying shipped as well. I don't think it matters in the end. The point I'm making is clear, I think. Look, I didn't say it. I actually put effort this time into not saying it, Destin. I'm saying Destin. Devin. Destin probably talking about me. I put effort into not saying it. I described it, but I didn't say it. Don't count. Did you know Gears Z-Day has been in development since 2020? Yeah, that's why it's coming out next year. With the new Xbox. But yeah, so this is why they say it's not growing. And if you see people saying, "Oh, well, so no one's impacted, only Xbox is impacted," it doesn't matter if Xbox is selling less. The bottom line is no one is selling more, and this generation isn't going to sell over 200 million consoles. That's just the reality of it, and therefore it's still not growing, right? I think it'll be 26 holiday. That's what makes sense. Maybe. I don't think they're ready to unveil the new hardware yet. But I do believe that they do need to start talking about it. Actually, did anyone see my new video? The one that I said, captioned, "I have a question for Phil Spencer." But this is why I don't include Nintendo, because one, their consoles are always cheaper, and they're an enigma. What did you think? Big Bad Mo, we say next year because it winds up Steve. So we go with that narrative just to wind him up. And even though he knows we're saying it just to wind him up, it still winds him up. So it's a win-win in our books. So I think you should still say next year. What's your thoughts on it? I'm gonna go through the comment section and see what people are saying, but interested to hear what your thoughts are. Wow, was it that boring? Well, there's the numbers, Devil Shooter. Where is it growing? Where is it growing? Which is roughly what I said, Power Boss, in my estimate. There's about 65. I said 65 million, rounding it up, because I don't like leaving anything. My OCD tells me to go up in fives. If I can. You really must be. Well, I'm hearing his streams have gotten a little bit more entertaining as of late. For all the wrong reasons. Lovergood, that is literally my question that I asked. Which no one seems to have asked from the 3 interviews. Microsoft is now, well, you know, Phil and co are now saying Microsoft, Xbox, whatever, are saying that this is an Xbox. My question is, I have a ton of games on my Xbox, right? Will I be able to play those on my PC? Whether it's through virtualization or whatever, is that the end goal? Where they're going to put the Xbox UI on PC as well? That is, they're doing that. We already know that from Jason Ronald, and we've already been told that it's running on there, just not in the best form, so it needs a lot of work and optimization, which is why it's not out yet. But the end goal is to get like the Xbox working on PC. But will our purchased items transfer and actually be working within that actual scenario on Windows? If the answer is yes, I think you'll see a nice little uptick on people spending money in the store. You'll also see a lot more people reassured that what they're investing in games and stuff is not going to go to waste. This was a question that no one asked, and I feel like it should have. This is like a really big question that should have been asked, but maybe one day we'll get the answer. I mean, they work on my Xbox, sure. But they want everything to be an Xbox within the ecosystem. In order for that to truly be the case, and at the end of the day, we know that PC is never going to go away, right? PCs will always be there. Whether you access Windows through the cloud or whatever, the whole infrastructure of PCs will always be there. So at that point, if they say, yes, your PC will replicate one-to-one what your console is doing, then at that point there is zero reason for anyone to think. Because I see a lot of people at the moment saying they're worried about investing inside the store, buying games on the store, because even though they're hearing that a console is coming, and we pretty much know it's coming, they've said it multiple times now. There's really no the reason to doubt that it's coming. But people still have that on the back of their mind, and they're on two minds on whether they should buy the game on the Xbox store or somewhere else. That would alleviate that problem right there, because it would give them the peace of mind that this is the vision that they have and this is what they want to achieve. That is the goal. That would have been my question, to see what they would have come back with. Not necessarily, Big Bad Mo, because if they get the Xbox OS, the OG OS, the 360 OS running on PC, and it is basically loading up your gamer tag, which has all your licenses, and when you go into that instance, it's essentially just an Xbox on top of your Windows, then you should have access to all your digital library. Right? You're not actually going in and rebuying them or playing a different version. You're playing the same versions that you purchased. Think of it like an emulator that's emulating your, you log in with your gamer tag, just like you'd go to your friend's house and you go to your friend's house, they've got their Xbox there, you log in, you've got access to all your games on their Xbox. And when you delete your gamer tag, they lose access. That's the sort of thing that I think people are looking for. When you log into your PC, will you have access to those back compat games, to those games you've invested money on? That's the point, Woodpit. That's exactly the point I'm making. That right there, because you'd have the confidence knowing that that's the end goal. If they're doing that, then happy days. People will be more inclined to spend more. Hey, Brick, how's it going? Greedier. What's... No one said Xbox is going anywhere? I've always wanted to play Magna Carta 2. It's a role-playing game, right? If I remember correctly. I've never really gotten around to it. Time being a thing. Time being the main factor here. But I've never really gotten around to it. Yeah, a lot of not every game is under backwards compatibility, unfortunately. The PS3 one especially is a nightmare because of the processor that they were using. The cell processor. Even Shuhei Yoshida said that it was a mistake, and developers, struggled to make anything on there. Those were dark times for Sony. Why are you so defensive, Big Bad Mo? What is wrong with wanting your collection to be accessible within the ecosystem? How is that bad for the consumer? How is that peace of mind wrong, bad for the consumer? I'm so confused with that one. What I'm suggesting actually benefits and is pro-consumer. It benefits the consumer, so it's not a bad thing. I think I've got the PS. I actually don't know where my George Foreman PS3 is. I haven't seen it in a while. I know I didn't sell it. It's probably in boxes somewhere, along with my Slim PS3. I'm not sure if it stopped working or something. I know the touch button for the eject stopped working for me. That was a pain to get the games out. I had to always use a controller. Really annoying. Those were dark times, having to always use the controller just to eject. Nowadays we don't have that problem. You just buy digitally and the game's always there. You just know you're super lazy when you go full digital. When the notion of having to eject a disc from your console is too much work, you know you've hit the full lazy. You know if there's really something wrong there. Come on, I can't be the only one that feels like that. I didn't say I'm worried, but people are worried. People are concerned. This would alleviate that. Why not just nip it in the bud? Like, for example, Phil Spencer came out, full transparency, every game at a showcase now will have a platform on there. If it's going to the Switch, they're going to put that on there at the birth of every trailer. And I think that's good, because that now takes away the complete question of, well, is this going to PlayStation? Is this going to the Switch? Is this going here? Is that going there? They're coming up front and telling you in full transparency when the trailers are out, whether it's going to a platform or not. And I think that's the right approach. That way people just stop asking or stop questioning. And this would also get them to stop questioning. Well, Mike Ybarra doesn't like Xbox anyway, so the fact that he was going to be anti-Xbox is no surprise there, right? That guy's got literally no love for Xbox or the team. So the fact that he's, talking in that fashion is no surprise to anyone. I mean, it skipped the cloud, for now at least. Is Avowed available on xCloud yet? It's available on rival platforms. Does that count? Sappho, they have to. If they release a game on the PS5, that's a Sony requirement. It has to say Pro Enhanced. I mean, a Pro Enhancement could literally be that they've enabled PISA to upscale the resolution. Well, downscale the resolution and upscale it. And that's all it's doing. But it still has to do something. It still has to be on there. It's a requirement. It has to meet one of the PS5 Pro, technical benefits. So the easiest one to do, which, we saw it a lot in the PS4 era when the PS4 Pro came out, publishers were just upping the resolution, and that was it. and that was pro enhanced. So it really depends. You're going to see some companies utilizing it, obviously, but the majority are going to be super lazy with it because they can be, and they don't have to spend any money on it. I mean, last year, when I looked at my when I looked at my end of year review for Xbox, I had, I think it was 170 or 100. I think it was 170 hours on my Xbox and 170 hours on my PC. So that's an extra 170 hours I got access to gaming because of the ecosystem. So that's kind of cool. I think I had about 40 hours on the cloud, but that got cut down because I had to move here and I've got like really bad internet here. Still waiting to move since May. I do remember hearing about that, Chili. But more importantly, did you know that Halo is going to Netflix? Everyone's going to be delighted with that one. I don't know. Like I said, I can't comment on whether Avowed is good or not. I was hoping to get at least like an hour or two into it, hence the title of the stream today. But I guess we'll talk about it a little more on Thursday, where I'll actually get some game time in. It took me forever just to get the game well, I already had it installed, but the update took forever. And then the unpacking took forever. The shaders didn't take long at all. And then you had the whole intro, then you had the character creation, and before long, I was looking at the comments on YouTube, and it was, look, he's going to be late again. Look, he's late again. Look, he's late. Even though I was actually on time. Look, he's late again. So I only got 15 minutes into the game? 20 minutes? Maybe a half hour tops. Yeah, Halo is going to Netflix, and who knows if it actually becomes if they actually get good numbers, they might actually continue a season 3. Here's the thing, right? I know people who don't really. So a couple of my friends who don't know anything about Halo, they absolutely love the show. So if you don't follow the series and you don't follow the lore of Halo, I'm guessing that was the target audience, because there's probably more of those people than there are fans. Still didn't help it in the end, mind you, but they were loving it. I don't even know who they are anymore. But in all honesty, I actually did enjoy the new Halo series. I enjoyed it for what it was. I did, a lot of people go into these these series and want a one-to-one reenactment of the games. I don't go in looking for that. I know it's not going to be that. I just go in and I want to see the universe of the game and, enjoy what I'm watching. And I did. For the most part, I actually enjoyed Halo. Season 1 and 2. I still don't get why the naked butt had to be in there, but, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about Master Cheeks. It's a thing, but I for one did enjoy it. Not as much as some people, but I didn't. The amount of vitriol I see for the Halo TV series, it just blows me away. Now, if you're talking about the Dragon Ball movie, which is Taz's favorite movie, Dragon Ball Evolution, even Chili likes that one. That's crazy. That's bad, right? That's bad. No one in their right mind is ever going to say that's good. But, Chili and Taz, they seem to love that movie. They're all evolutioning it up. I mean, I haven't bought a movie, make it simple, in a long, long time. But actually, I tell you, I recently bought the set for Indiana Jones. I found it for really cheap. But outside of that one, I think it's been like 10 years since I bought a movie. There's no need. They're on the subscription services, so I don't buy them. See, I told you Chile was in favor of it. That's the thing, Susanna. Especially when it comes to movies, I just don't see any reason to buy them. I know when it comes to, the proper 4K Blu-ray, if you're like a proper, HD aficionado, there is a big difference between getting something native on a Blu-ray disc, running it on Ultra HD, as opposed to streaming it. It's just way sharper, way cleaner, and it just looks better. But that requires effort. And I can get it on my subscription already, so I'm willing to take the hit where it counts. And not buy it, because I don't need it. Oh, really, Chili? I heard about that chicken. I don't know, but I haven't really looked into it. What is this whole movies and stuff? And Big Bad Mo, I totally get why, because especially if you like that extra bit of quality that you're going to get, and it's visually noticeable as well, right? It's not like it's a case of, oh, you wouldn't even notice it. You absolutely notice the difference when you're watching an Ultra HD on a Blu-ray as opposed to streaming. You do. There is a big difference. You got to be blind to not see a difference. I mean, I'm blind, and I see a difference. We don't do any of that stuff, Steve. I'll have to look into that. Navy, it looks like US only. My perks didn't have it. Hey, Byron. Steve. Yeah, your evil twin Carmine was the one posting. I'm pretty sure. At this point, you might as well just be in it full time. But yes, going back to the original discussion we were having, at least now you can understand why they say that about the market, right? That's the reason. But apparently IGN, they decided that console warring was today's agenda. In many ways, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 feels like it's picked up and run with the reactive first-person RPG torch that Bethesda left lying in the mud years ago in pursuit of a broader audience. How many people here have played Kingdom Come Deliverance? Man, the drama surrounding this game was surreal. Like, I couldn't believe the drama that went around this game. I was looking at it and I was like, huh? Why are people upset? And then I dug a bit deeper. And obviously people were complaining that it's woke because you can romance hands. And I was like, wait, but isn't that like really complicated to do? And so I looked it up to see how complicated it actually was. And you got to do a lot of work to get this to happen, right? And then I find out that you got to be playing for like 70, 80 hours before this is even possible. And I'm like, my dude, what are you crying about? So not only do you have to be playing for like almost 100 hours, but you got to go through some rigorous trial that you know, most people won't be bothered to do anyway. And if you don't bother with it, it doesn't impact your game in any way, shape, or form. What the hell was going on with this? I couldn't believe it. It was like, tell me you're just wanting to get angry for literally the notion and purpose of I want to get angry and stamp my foot around. I don't feel Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is anywhere like Avowed, and I think, honestly, the genres are so different. I mean, I get that they have their similarities, but they are so different that I can't see how you can compare them. And, you know, even the notion of comparing them is stupid. But still, the drama that surrounded Kingdom Come... That's like, why? Why? So, just saying, so I've just been sent something privately. The team that got fired from Marvel Rivals was a support team from Seattle in the US. The main development team for Rivals is headquartered in China, and no one there was fired to their knowledge. So it seems like the support team in the US was the one that got John Cena out of the building. Why did Riot Games just boot up on my PC? It looks like it was just a support studio let go. You know, usually the way the games industry works is they will bring in freelancers or a studio to help support, and once it's done, you let go. I mean, dude, at the time, and I think Silver will remember this, but when we was working at Sega, we'd have like 900 people in QA. We'd have like 3 shifts. It'd be hundreds of people. Maybe not 900, but close to it. We'd have hundreds of people working there. And then once we delivered the projects, they just got rid of like 500 people overnight. Overnight, they would just get rid of them. They'd turn around and say, right, we've delivered these. Off you go now, on your bike. See ya! It was known as the Great Guillotine. It was horrible. I still remember that one guy who was a complete prick, but I can't remember his name. He had this little doll, I remember it, and every time someone from HR came in to remove someone, he'd hit play on that doll, and it would sing Another One Bites the Dust. It was such a horrible thing. Such a horrible thing to do. But he was that sort of person. But people like that exist, man. This was on the actual work floor that he was actually doing this. You sent me a DM? Ah, see? You guys thought I was chatting rubbish about the Valentine's Massacre. You thought I was chatting rubbish. There you go. It's right there. Right there. I didn't even say... Right there. You guys thought I was messing about or pulling your leg. There you go. I remember I walked to the QA manager at the time and I said, why didn't I get one of these? I thought like I got left out. And he turned around and tells me, sit down, shut up. And the fact that you haven't gone one, you be grateful. And it was only later that we found out that everyone that got a Valentine's card at the time got their P45. You guys thought I was joking. There you go. In 4K for you. I left. He was still employed when I left because the pay just was awful. You know, you couldn't live on the pay that they had over there. I had to leave because I had a family. I think the pay was like 11K, 12K a year, and so I found a job for 20K at the time, working for TFL. So I jumped ship. Da, 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 da. Wait, I guess Destin is drunk too? Has anyone seen his new video? It looks like Destin is drunk on the Kool-Aid as well. Or maybe he's doing that because he's he's sick and tired of people harassing him. But he definitely drank that Kool-Aid. I mean, NetEase shut down studios like crazy, right? It's not something new that they do. Like, I remember there was a mobile game that they got, and they were making somewhere in the region of about 15 million a month. 10-15 million a month. Which to most people would actually be good money for a mobile game, right? But it didn't hit their threshold, so they shut the whole studio down and got rid of everyone. And cancelled the game. They're pretty ruthless. Community manager in the official Marvel Rivals Discord has now stated that the only game director is Guang Wang. Apparently, they did not consider Fearless a game. Wow, that's cold. Man not only got booted, but he got demoted too. Talk about adding injury. Adding salt to the injury. Jeez. Man not only got the boot, but he got demoted at the same time just before the boot. They don't want the Western audience to think they will lose touch with them now as they meet weekly with the Marvel team. Will there be... Well, there's one thing that I would like to clarify. There's only one director. I do not like false rumors being spread, discrediting the work our team has produced in ever since development. I mean, come on. If the guy's saying he was a director, he was a director. This sounds silly. He's not going to lie about it. not like our finance, a head of finance in the UK, right? Rachel Reeves. She lied on her CV, her job application, and everything to get that role, and is sinking our country every day. He got attacked a lot over the past week, and from PlayStation fans, and it got quite nasty. If you just go to his Twitter, you'll see it got quite nasty. People were being like, going way too far with it, with the whole 75 million shipped as opposed to sold. People just take these things way too seriously. It's not like, these companies are going to turn around, bend you over and screw you anally, are they? They think that these companies are going to turn around and give them money. They just take it way too seriously. Like, I get brand loyalty, and I get, it's no different to sports teams. But just like in sports teams, there are people that take it way too seriously, and for the most part, PlayStation fans just generally take it way, way, way too seriously. Especially the vocal ones. But now Destin released a video saying they've just hit 75 million consoles sold. Apparently keep saying sold inside the video. Which is interesting. But at this point, I genuinely don't blame him, because he's probably sick of it. So maybe this will get them off his back, because I just don't get why people have to be that toxic. Over 100 times. Jeez, man. I mean, community managers don't make games. That's not their job. It's in the name. Their role is to manage the community. I mean, they may have some experience. It's like I remember, people were saying, well, instead of the art team, creating those skins, why aren't they working on the network code and the anti-cheat for Call of Duty? And I'm like, do you honestly really want someone who works on Adobe Photoshop and stuff, on art tools, to go in to the back end and start working on anti-cheat stuff? They probably wouldn't know the first thing about what they're doing. They'll just be pressing stuff and hope for the best. It'll literally be they'll break everything. You need the right tool for the right job. Hey, you say that, Chili, but Gordon Ramsay started off as a waiter. I mean, they act like it's supposed to be, I get the whole trolling and the victory lap and all of that. That was always going to come. But I don't know, it's just people go way too far. It's way, way too far. Yeah, I don't think so, Chili. No one's going to take that pay cut. Because it is a pay cut. They do generally, Silver, because they know the ins and outs. They know the culture. don't get me wrong. I've seen some really toxic stuff from, like the really extreme Xbox fanboys. But I just see it more. It's probably because of my algorithm, but I just see it way more from the Sony side, which is not good. You don't have to take it that far. I don't mind people coming into my chat and trolling me and having a bit of a good time. That's okay, right? I've never had a problem with that because I will troll you back just the same, like I did with the other guy that came in earlier. It didn't last long. Well, it looks like the Crunchyroll price is increasing from $100 to $120. Not sure if that means anything to anyone. Did anyone check out that new Bobby Kotick interview? I haven't had a chance to watch it. Sony. I see what you did there, Steffo. I see what you did there. And I fell straight for it. I literally fell for it. I salute you. I salute you. I fell straight for it. Oh, man. Steffo got me good with that one, man. Okay, fair. You got me. Yes, they're increasing their price to bring me more value. But yeah, so apparently Bobby Kotick told Satya Nadella to get out of gaming. This isn't an industry for you. What do you think about that? Can you imagine? Hey, buddy, I'm going to give you $80 billion for your company. And then they turn around, yeah, I don't think this is the right deal for you. You should turn around and walk away. $80 billion, and that's what you say. Oh, Ventura, are you one of these high-sailing Sea of Thieves gaming aficionados? I hear there's a crew building in my chat right now. So how many of you are actually playing Sea of Thieves? No, Kotick wanted to sell. There was too much going on, and at the end of the day, the golden parachute he got, he's set for life, and his kid's life, and his kids' life. You know, anyone in his generation pretty much won't have need for money for the rest of their, bloodline. He sold out at a good price. What game is that, Sappho? Sea of Thieves? If so, then you should definitely join Steve and Ventura. They seem to be pros at this. They're starting a new crew. Sailing on the high seas. Arr! Yeah, you should play with them. They like to, put that phone down. They love to live on the wild side. I'll have a look. Alright, let's see. No, don't open up here. Alright, let's have a look and see. So, PlayStation 5 has sold 75 million. Mate, you'd expect him to at least not lie so brazenly. He's even been community noted. Shipped, not sold to customers. Exactly. When it comes to hardware, Shinobu details 75 million consoles shipped, which is correct. Nearly in line with PS4 at this point. It's actually like 2% below. 9.5 million consoles sold in a quarter, with 40% of them actually being new customers. 42% to be exact. Monthly active users were up 5% despite 42% increase in users. At 129 million. And in April 2024, they were at 97 million active users. So in the 7 months, they've gained basically 30 million between the PS4, PC, and PS5. Because at the time, if I remember correctly, I saw this in a post somewhere anyway recently. In April, the active users was 49 million for PlayStation in April, and it was roughly about 48 million on PS4. So they had an even split in April 2024. And then obviously, with the PS5 Pro coming along, they probably got people upgrading from the PS5. And well, no, that wouldn't make sense with the active users. That would be new customers. But yeah, so they were quite even. But in that 7 months, they got a good chunk of an increase, right? PC is definitely helping them here. I'd say the majority of that increase in monthly active users is PC. This was taken from Sony, one of Sony's PDFs, slideshows that they were using, and it showed that they had 48 million PS4 and 49 million PS5, which is give or take about 97 million as of April 2024. Obviously, a lot changed since then. More games came out for PC, so you can see where the active users are coming from. Oh, Zubitech. Sony has confirmed. So wait, everyone is saying shipped except for one guy, Jeff Keighley. He wants to say sold. He's the only one giving misinformation. Come on, Jeff, you can do better than that. Be better. That puts Xbox Series sales at 26 million shipped. No, it doesn't. As much as he wants to believe this, it does not. surpassing 100 million. Oh, you have it here as well. Yeah. The current generation volume, PS4, Xbox One. I mean, that seems wrong as well, right? Considering the PS4 has 115 million, right? Sales. And the Xbox One has 60 million. That's 165 million on its own. I guess this doesn't include the series consoles. So you can see what I'm saying here. Like, when I was saying that there's a bracket that they will go to, once this hits to 175 million, that's when they would have said it. So it does look like what I said earlier. They're going up in 25s. So the only time that you're going to see them going with the next number up is when they hit 125 million with PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles combined. But right now, there is a whole 24 million there in terms of where are those going? Have they even been shipped or whatever? Have they been sold? We just don't know. So it's all googly dook, as I like to call it. Dude, I replied to Derek, and I got absolutely swarmed by the flies. It was crazy. It was crazy. Dude, they came for me like in a pack. They're talking about Xbox, influencers being on Discord. I'm pretty sure that was like a proper coordinated attack that came for me, man. I didn't even know which way to turn. I just muted the whole thread and just said, right, that's it. Peace and quiet. That's a good question. They only show sold. They don't show shipped. But I think that's more genuine anyway. If you sold what you've show what you've sold, you are being more honest. You're not padding the numbers for your investors. Why am I not finding this guy? Yeah, I can't find him. Oh, there we go. He did go a little OTT, didn't he? He did go a little OTT. So he came up with this showing a 500, it's 29.2 million. At $300 is 48.7 million. I'm sure this is hardware, so controllers and stuff are going to be in there as well. I can only imagine that's the case, right? There has to be, it's not saying consoles, but it's saying hardware. So, I would still say it's about 32, 33 million. That just makes the most sense to me. When you're looking at it without the fanboy lens, that makes the most logical sense. But hey, who knows? I could be wrong. We will never know, because Microsoft doesn't reveal any numbers. Their Strickland of Tweetown just did the math of 25 to... No, 25 to 26 million is impossible. There's no way that they sold that little. Don't get me wrong. You know, when I say that little, they didn't sell 40 million, but I do believe they're somewhere between 30 and 35. There's no way that they sold 2 million in 2024. Wasn't those... And look, don't you remember all those... is it Circana or NPD counts that, you know, PlayStation fans kept using to mock everyone? Xbox was always somewhere between 400,000 to 600,000, you know, sometimes peaking up to 800,000, whereas Sony was always between 1 and 2 million, right? Even if you go down to the base 400,000 that they were reporting, that is still more than 2 million. Just do the maths. 400 times 10 is 4 million. Right? That on its own, at the worst possible lowest denominator, is telling you that it's more than 2 million. But apparently NPD and Circana now are basically all full of shit. Because that's how it works, right, chat? Those goalpost movements, they gotta happen. You cap for NPDs until it doesn't work in your favor. And then you say goodbye. I mean, half of this stuff, honestly, is just common sense. You can work it out. It's not impossible to work out. I mean, just look at Game Pass, right? Someone in chat, work it out. There is, give or take, about 40 million Game Pass subscriptions right now. At 40 million, let's say you're going to average it about, I'm going to do it in pounds, not dollars, at about £11 to £12. Somewhere in between there. Go 11. Do your 40 million, multiply that by £11. What do you get? Someone work out the maths and put it in chat. I don't want to do it because if I do it, people are going to say I'm making it up or I'm fudging the numbers. So I just want someone in chat to do it. Just put, you know, round it up to the nearest, you know, billion. 4.4 billion, and that's at £11, right? Now, if we average it at roughly about £12, what does it make? You just woke up, so not you. So, average of £12, what does it make? And I mean, the numbers are there for people to work out, right? So, I'm going to get you guys in chat to do it, so I'm not the one making this up. So, at £12, what does it make? 4.8 million. Now, so let's say between the two, it's 4.6. So, in your calculator, put 4.6 billion, or just put 4.6. Who cares? At the time, Phil Spencer said it costs one and a half. I think it was 1 billion to run. But let's say now that time has, you know, gone on and they're paying more to these publishers. Let's double that money to 2 billion, right? In fact, let's do it a little higher. Let's go to 2.5 billion. I don't think it's anywhere near there, mind you. I think it's closer to the 2 billion. But I'm just gonna, you know, cover myself and say 2.5 billion. So if you're at 4.6 billion revenue income, and in order to run the servers, the overheads, the paying for the games, the maintaining of Game Pass is 2.5 billion, how much net does that leave you? Oh, Steve, I was just going average. I know there are way more Ultimate members than there is other subscriptions, so it would really be closer to like £14 if we were really doing the average, but I'm just doing it from the lower end. You would be at 2.1 billion, right? So that, the maths is there for people to work out. Now, people turn around and say, well, that's not paying. What about all the studios and stuff that are making the games? What about them? They have the Game Pass is a separate entity. They still have their profit and loss. They still have to sell the games, and people do buy the games on Xbox still, and people do buy them on PC. And they make their money. And so not only are they making their money through other channels to make the money that they've invested, but Game Pass on the other side is just bringing in 2-3 billion a year as additional revenue. So I just don't get it. And even if they had to dip into some of that money that they get as profit from Game Pass to give to the studios, as a certain percentage, it still isn't going to impact the fact that it is a profitable endeavor. I mean, the maths is there, right? People say, you're not doing it right. You're making those numbers up. I'm literally averaging it to the lowest denominator. Third-party devs get paid handsomely. Generally, there's the 2 or 3 contracts that I've seen. One that they normally do. Indie games, they normally pay for the development of the game. They cover the cost, and then the game goes on to Game Pass. Or as they do a situation where every time someone downloads the game and plays it for a set duration, they get money for it. But they also sometimes add that perk onto the first model. Or, like Guardians of the Galaxy, they give them a flat fee up front that they got 50 million for that one to put it on Game Pass. And that covers, I think 20, 30 million copies of the game sold for the publisher. And they go do it that way. So, it's dependent on the contract. But for the first party stuff, that just goes into the store, into the Game Pass, and they rely on game sales elsewhere to make their money. But I'm sure they get maybe a small percentage of that revenue funneled back to their books just to make it look better. But that's about it. Well, yeah. It's not going to be a one-fits-all. Like, for example, if they turn around to Rockstar and said, hey, GTA 6, we give you 20 million for it, it's not going to work for them, is it? They will lose a ridiculous amount of money. So, it's obviously not going to work for certain games. But it's not a one-fit-all, right? It's never been a one-fits-all. And that is why, if it's not on Game Pass, you go and buy the game. Like I do. I mean, right now, from what I've seen on the numbers, the profit margin that Xbox has is a higher profit margin than what Sony has. That's even though they're actually making less money. Their profit margin is greater. And they paid a lot of money for that. Make it simple. For the little period that it was on there, I think they paid like $25 to $50 million for what, like a month of it being on there? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy money. But at the same time, Microsoft has the money to spend, so who cares? Like, I don't care how much money Microsoft makes or spends or whatever. But this notion that, they're doing bad, they're a $1 trillion company. They make their money, and they're making bank. And, I'm not seeing any of that money. I wish I was seeing some of that money, but I'm not. So I don't get this whole incessant need of people to badger on about it so much. But hey, if anyone could hook me up with, say, Satya Nadella and stuff, and he can give me, 0.0001% of their wealth, I'd take it. The option is there. The 70 billion that they spent wasn't investor money. It was just money that sits there for investments. So Microsoft puts money aside that is basically just liquid cash that they can use for investments. And that's what it was spent from. Not shareholders. Obviously, they want a return on that money, naturally, but it wasn't, money that was directly taken from shareholders. It's just liquid cash that sits there for investment. It's a separate pool of money. It's, when it comes to the financing, it's totally different to everything else. And a lot of people don't get that either. Man, by the way, chat, just putting this out there because I was speaking to Doc Dark. Big Bad Mo, you actually reminded me of him. So thanks for that, because I wanted to actually bring this up. So he wants to come onto my show, but he can't on the weekdays. He can't do make it on the Tuesday or Thursday. So he wants to know. Well, he was asking me if we can do it on the weekend. On a weekend sometime, probably on a Saturday. Any of you be interested in that? Me and Doc Dark going at it? Would you be interested in turning up to a show on a Saturday for that? I'm going to want an appearance from both. I'm going to want an appearance from both. Because I definitely want to hear his, Tony's retort at that 75 million sold. Shipped, whatever it is. Yeah, I understand Saturdays are a bit difficult for people, especially because other people are also streaming on Saturdays as well. So I don't generally like to, stream at the same time as others and, tiptoe into their window. But it won't be a regular Saturday thing. This will just be one-off kind of thing when we want to get together. Yeah, man. Tony's a different breed, man. Tony's a different breed. Dude, Alex streams at 1 a.m. my time. I ain't streaming at that. I will be almost 5-6 hours before he starts streaming. Alex starts at 1 a.m. on a Sunday morning for me. Well, Gaz is normally streaming on the weekends. You've got, what is it? I know, it's Alex streaming. And you've got a few others streaming as well. So from what I've seen, KGN Gamer has been suspended. Tim Dog finally realized that after he sunk Xbox and then he went over to Sony and sunk the first party studios over there, Nintendo didn't want him, and so he deactivated it because I guess he found nowhere else to go. Well, it went from xCloud Tim Dog to PSN Tim Dog. He then changed it to Super Tim Dog for like Super Nintendo. They didn't want him, and then shortly after he deactivated. Generic Eric is gone again because he threatened to. Well, he blackmailed Josh in DM, so Josh made it public, and it was caught in the algorithm, and I guess people reported it. But he basically blackmailed him to delete some stuff, or he was gonna reveal not only his family photos but also his address and stuff and his details. This is what I mean. Like, these people are totally unhinged. They go way too far. It's not cheap to sue, dude. If he doesn't have any financial backing or anyone paying money, you know, it's expensive to sue. You gonna go to Steam next? Well, nice knowing you, Gabe. Bye, Gabe. Bye, Steve. It was nice knowing you while you lasted, Steve. Oh, God damn. I didn't say he's not. It's just he's gonna need a bit of money to make it happen. All right, there's this that I wanted to kind of talk about, right? This one over here. So, people look at this and say, "Oh my God, what? 2 million sold and it's amazing!" And then they look at a game like Final Fantasy 16, which sold 3 million, and then they say it flopped. Now, this is what I don't get, right? And then, you got Dragon's Dogma as well, which sold like, I think, 1.5 or 2 million, and people are really happy with it. What is it that people don't get with this? A game's prestige or title. I mean, there's no way that you can say that Kingdom Come Deliverance has a bigger heritage than a game like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy. Right? You know, you can even add Gears to that name. Halo, Uncharted, Spider-Man. Are you saying that those games have the same kind of impact on the, as a title as Kingdom Come Deliverance? Are they in the same pedigree? Are they even in the same ballpark? Right? With the other games that I mentioned, you expect more, right? So with Spider-Man, you expect the 10 million or 15 million or 20 million. With the Final Fantasies, you expect the 5-10 millions. With the Dragon Quest, you expect the 10 million, 15 million. And when it gets 2 million, then, it raises eyebrows because, these franchises are massive. And then they say, "Oh, but that sold 3 million and everyone said it flopped, but this one sold 2 million and it's like, wow, it's amazing." Well, of course. When you're looking at a game like Kingdom Come Deliverance, which, I'm not saying it's a bad game, but it doesn't have the same pedigree. It doesn't have the same following. It doesn't have the same stature. So 2 million copies, of course, is really good for this company. I mean, there you go. Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was crowdfunded. Like, there's a difference. Like, I expect games like Spider-Man to sell way more, right? I expect them to hit that 10, 15 million mark. Because every kid has heard of Spider-Man, right? But who's heard of Kingdom Come Deliverance? So when it sells like 2 million, that's good. I mean, what is it that people don't understand about that logic? I did. Because I thought for all the commotion that came out and for how good that game was, I expected at least, maybe 5% of the audience from Sony to play it, considering it's their mascot. I was disappointed with their number with that. I was genuinely disappointed. I wanted that game to do so well. Like, I genuinely wanted that game to hit like that 5 million number, or maybe even at like 4 million. I wanted it to hit 4 or 5 million because that would have sent a shockwave out to all the other publishers out there that are looking at these family games and saying that there's no money in it, there's no profit in making these games, to think twice and say, do you know what? If that game can do 4 or 5 million, maybe we should do a Banjo and Kazooie. Maybe we should do the next Spyro. Maybe we should do the next whatever platformer game. Or maybe even, get creative and create a new IP from one of the known studios that will push it. But when it doesn't hit those numbers, it may win all the awards it wants. If it's not hitting a high number, you've got the original creator of Banjo-Kazooie coming out and saying there's no market. It won't sell. And so that's why I wanted it to sell more. You've got the PlayStation fans consistently badgering, we've sold 75 million, and yet no one's buying the games. I mean, let's see how much... Bags, I read that as well, and I really hope they do, right? I genuinely hope that they do. And I hope that the success that those games get will spread, right? Prime example of, something completely opposite to this is like Dragon Age's The Veilguard, right? I've been saying that, one of these games that have a high-profile name has to historically fail before other other publishers turn around and say, do you know what? Maybe we shouldn't be doing this anymore. And Dragon Age Veilguard turned a lot of heads from all of this social pandering. And it did. Publishers are now questioning whether it's the right approach. It had the effect it needed to because a game of that caliber needed to fail. So it's had that impact. I want a platformer to have the impact where these publishers turn around and say, clearly there's a market there for this, so I want to go and make these games. Because I think right now games, consoles, PC, whatever, they are devoid of these games. They're just not there. And I think that there is definitely a market there, but it just needs to be a bit more widespread. And this is one of the reasons why I kind of hoped that Astrobot would go to PC. I know it's not because of what it is. I mean, I seriously doubt it will. But it's one of the reasons why I wanted it, because I wanted to hit those numbers or more so heads can turn. And so people can take notice and say, there is a market for these games. Let's make those games. You're looking at it in a completely different way, Bags. I'm not saying the game wasn't successful. Hey, Devastator. Yeah, they have, Devastator. They got a big slap in the face. Spider-Man 2 Remastered. That would be funny. So, that's why I wanted it to be, why I wanted it to hit higher numbers. Let's look at Aaron Greenberg. Aaron, who doesn't follow me. For shame. Aaron. You should totally follow me, Aaron. I'm just saying. We don't go way back, but you should still follow me. Pleased to report we are now #1 selling game globally. It's even beaten Monster Hunter Wilds, which is impressive. And do you know what, chat? I stand corrected. And I said in that video, I would say I was wrong. So enjoy it. I was wrong. My concern of it launching close to Kingdom Come Deliverance was unfounded. I was wrong. I did say in that video that I would say I was wrong. This is the only time you're going to hear it. Possibly Byron. I've got some. I need to see if because I've got a contractual obligation tomorrow with a company for another game, so I need to see if I can push that to Saturday potentially, if I can get away with it. But if I can't, then I'm going to be unable to, because obligations are obligations. But if I can, then I'll probably be checking it out on Twitch tomorrow. I think it's a bigger problem than we think if the facade fan base of both platforms are aging, they're raising families, have less time for gaming. Yeah, like my kids used to love playing on the Xbox, but all they play now is multiplayer games, and a lot of their friends are PC only. They don't have consoles, so my kid took my old PC with my 2080. My older one, I helped him build a 3070 at the time, and yeah, they just now are on their PCs indefinitely. They got zero interest. Even my youngest, he's always on my PC. Yes. Actually, there was one game that I wanted to talk about. I'm actually going to make a video about it after the stream. But I was, as you know, I got access to the network test for Elden Ring. And it pretty much feels, it's a weird combination of Monster Hunter and a Battle Royale. It's weird, right? But I really liked it. I really, really liked it. It took me a while to get used to the controls, because the actual combat is a little different to that of Elden Ring. But I really liked it. And in a weird way, it actually has me a little more interested to go back and try Elden Ring again. Probably for the best part of like 5 minutes, I'm going to get my face smashed in and then realize why I didn't like it in the first place, and then go about my merry day. But at least it's doing what it's intended to do. I really liked it. I don't think it needs the wall that, closes in on you. I think that's overkill. But I like the whole, Monster Hunter-y aspect of it. I think it worked really well for it. I called myself Avowed Talos the Grey. I like it. I like it. How are you finding it, Talos? I don't think so, Susano. I mean, it isn't Elden Ring, so if people are looking for Elden Ring in there, it's not that. It borrows stuff of it, but it's not that. You bought yourself a new laptop? What time I'm expecting it to get the day after? Hopefully it'll arrive on Thursday, dude. But yeah, so I'm gonna make a video with my thoughts about that game, but I liked it. I really did. Yeah, it's just a support studio, Power Boss. It's not the real. It's not the actual development team. The new story got over sensationalized quite drastically. Rain is a fusion of different FromSoft games, but it worked really well. Oh, is it, Susano? Everyone loves a bit of Jeff. Yeah, everyone is taking it. Everyone is running with the story of Marvel Rivals, and they've got it all wrong. They have it all completely wrong. It's just a support studio. They no longer need that studio to support them. So they were brought in for a job. They've done the job. They succeeded, and off they went. Did you notice how? What studio was it? I can't remember who published. Who was the development studio for Visions of Mana? They actually got rid of their whole studio a day before release. No, it was on the day of release. So as the game came out, officially, globally, they closed the whole studio down. Didn't really hear much about that news, did you? Helldivers? In what way? Yeah, the graphics look great. I'm running it on max on my PC at the moment, and I may have to lower a couple of settings in order to get it to solid 60, because ray tracing is murdering my graphics card at the moment. But other than that, it's I'm pretty much at like 55 FPS, but it's good. It looked great. It looked absolutely beautiful. Like the screenshots you see on Twitter, they do not tell the story of how beautiful that game looks. Yeah, but Oka Studios, they got shut down. They don't exist anymore. They were shut down on the day of the release of the game. Talos, to be fair, I wanted to install it on my Xbox. I don't have space. I actually don't have any space, and I'm not paying £130 for a memory card. I refuse to do that. I absolutely refuse. This is somewhere Sony absolutely kicks Xbox's, arsing. I can get a 1 terabyte memory, stick for what, 60 quid? And you want me to pay over double for the Xbox One? Nah. I refuse to pay it. I absolutely refuse to pay it. Because at the moment I think I'm playing through about 5-6 different games on my Xbox. 3 of them are indie, which I'm really enjoying at the moment. And the other 2, I'm still playing bits of Stalker 2, which is massive in size. Then I've got, like the free-to-play games like Genshin on there, which I'm playing through. So, it's there's just not enough space. Oh, Brick, yeah, they did. But it's a support studio. It's what happens. It's what happens. You can't help it. I would, Brick. I would, because this is what everyone says. Get the M2 adapter, which is super cheap, but everywhere I've looked, Microsoft has patched it, so you can't use it. They actually purposefully went out their way and patched it. Whether it was a Seagate and influenced, I don't care. It's Microsoft's OS. They went in and patched it, and they don't work. It basically stops recognizing the file, the disk drive. See, in the US, they go on sale. They don't go on sale here in the UK. I haven't seen them go on sale here in the UK. Even at Christmas, they did not go on sale. It's crazy. Like in the US, I saw them go down to $100. If they, here in the UK, they stayed like £140 all the way through. We don't get those sales. I know you get them in the US, but we don't get them over here. Buy another Xbox. But yeah, I was going to get one of those kind of adapters where you can just put the M2 drive in and off you go. And that's what a lot of people were doing. And Microsoft realized that they were losing money off that, so they patched it. Patched the OS to stop you using them. At least that's what I've heard. Everyone keeps saying it's been patched. You should. Why not? Why not, Power Boss? Do you know what my current logo symbolizes? If you look at the actual logo, there's actually not really a story, but there is a reason it is the way it is. There was you know how you guys keep going with the running joke that I'm bad at video games and all that you guys do is carry me, even though the last time I played Gears with Steve, I pretty much carried him all the way through and he got his achievements and stuff. I mean, what can I say? But the whole running joke with that was that people are basically carrying me through everything, and so that's why that logo appears the way it is. You do that, Steve. He stole? I did not steal anything. There you go. Bags knows the truth. $1 a gigabyte. I mean, I've seen them in the UK for like 50 quid, £50. I would, but I don't want to embarrass you, Steve. I can't do that to you. I don't do that to friends. That's, it's one thing telling people about it, but going that deep, I couldn't do that to you, man. Your street cred would just be destroyed. I could not do that to you. What on earth is that? For one, it doesn't even have a belly. Dude. What is this? It don't even have a belly. I have a belly. Come on. Gotta at least get the belly in there, man. Gotta at least get the belly in there. Pyrocred. So what do you think of the whole Shuhei Yoshida storyline? Where he also was John Cena out of the building. No. Not better. That's a bit too. That's too much. He doesn't have a face. My dude doesn't have a face. What is that? Why are you being so mean? Let me know how it goes, Steve. Because all I've been reading online is that they've been patched. That does not fit. I have a face, even if it is hidden by the legendary beard. Which I'm probably going to trim soon. Wow. I think this is actually quite accurate. Did Sumo just actually make a good tweet? Chat, did he just make a good tweet? Someone needs to check up on him. Avowed on the Xbox Series X is a very pretty game. Balance mode looks great. Quality is like playing a flip-flop because it's 30 FPS, I can totally get that. And performance mode has a visible decrease in detail. Like, the difference between balanced and performance is huge when it comes to the detail. So I totally get that as well. But with the balanced mode, if you have a VRR-enabled TV, that's like the best mode to play. And it kind of gives you almost quality-like picture quality. And you get to boost it up to, with frame gen all the way up to 120. But I did not have on my bingo cards today Sumo doing an actually good post. You know what? Credit where credit's due, man. Ubisoft is telling players that they can skip playing as Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows. What do you think? You think, Bags? You think? They caved in it. They didn't have a choice. I mean, most people were going to pick her anyway, right? Oh, me too, Silver. This is the first Assassin's Creed outside of Mirage that I'm actually genuinely interested in, and I'm hoping it's going to be a good game. Because there are people that still want to use him. Sounds like 2 playthroughs. Damn. You gotta wait. Where was that clip that I was looking for? There was a clip I wanted to play, but I can't find it. You want Unity? Everyone wants Unity. Nope, I can't find it. So, chat, is there anything else you want to talk about today? Anything that I haven't covered that you want to cover? Alright, you sent me an actual good picture. Alright, there you go. That's more like it. This is more like it. There we go. That's more like it. Even though I should be a little taller. I know 5'9" isn't that tall, but I should be a little taller. That looks like a Smurf. It looks like its waist is, everything from the waist down is gone. But otherwise, it's, you're getting there. Hush up, Steve. You have no idea what we are capable of. Buffs. It's 11 o'clock already, dude. I've been working since 8 a.m. till 6, and then pretty much here. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try and play some tomorrow over at Twitch. And if there isn't, I mean, we've got the show on Thursday. If any, we'll see how it goes, and I'll see if I can add maybe an extra day on the weekend if I'm not overly busy. It's my daughter's birthday on Friday, so we're going to be out for most of Friday in the evening. And Saturday, I've got my in-laws coming around in the morning, so they should be gone by the afternoon. So maybe something in the afternoon on Saturday, if I can't get any time in tomorrow. You should troll with Genshin's new character? I don't get what's wrong with the new character. The whole fandom has gone crazy. But man, I had a really cool clip of MBG that I wanted to play. It was pretty funny. But I don't have it anymore. But it is what it is. $4070 Ti released 20th. What? For those upgrading PC GPU? Oh, you mean the 5070 Ti? Alright then, folks. I guess that's going to be it for me tonight. I'm gonna... For members, I should have another video out for you shortly, in the next half an hour. And then that will be live tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. my time for everyone else. I hope you enjoy the content, and I will be back streaming on Twitch tomorrow. If I can push my contractual stuff to Saturday, then I will do that. If not, I may need to be on DNA tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes with DNA. And then I'll play some Avowed tomorrow. If not, it'll probably be on Saturday. Alright, folks. Thanks so much for hanging out tonight. You have been amazing as always. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, folks, and remain legend.